In today's video, I want to share something deeply personal. Not because it's easy to tell, but because sometimes the truths that hurt the most are the ones that set us free. Welcome to Silent Secrets. This isn't just another story. It's a quiet, steady unraveling of what happens when a life that once felt certain begins to fade into the unrecognizable, cognizable. And if you've ever looked at yourself and wondered, when did I stop feeling alive? Then maybe you'll understand me better than I'd like to admit. The morning it all began wasn't special. It was one of those ordinary Thursdays, the kind where you wake up, make coffee, and let life move through you without question. The sunlight slipped through the blinds, casting narrow golden lines across my face. It caught on my eyes, tired, hollow, and unfamiliar. For a long moment, I just stood there staring into the mirror. Same woman, same faint smile, same routine. But the reflection staring back at me felt like a stranger I'd been avoiding for years. Her eyes looked familiar, yet something behind them had vanished, like someone had quietly packed up and left, leaving only a faint echo of who she used to be. From the outside, everything looked fine. A stable marriage, kids, ideal cozy kids, and a cozy home tucked away in a quiet Seattle suburb. The kind of life that photographs well. But behind those framed smiles and weekend plans, something was slowly and quietly moving in places no one else could see. My name is Olivia Porter, and once upon a time, I believed I had everything figured out. I believed in balance, in doing things, in doing right things, and in showing up for everyone every day, no matter what it cost me. But what I didn't realize back then was that sometimes doing everything right can quietly kill every part of you that once felt alive. My husband was and still is a good man, dependable, steady, and predictable. He was the kind of man who fixed things before they broke, who believed in paying bills early and washing the car every Sunday morning. He loved order and structure, and for a long time, I loved that about him, too. But love has seasons. And when you stay too long in one without noticing it's changed, something in you starts to quietly die. After 12 years of marriage, what we had wasn't a flame anymore. It was an ember. Small, quiet, and burning out of habit more than heat. We didn't fight. We didn't argue, but we also didn't connect. We existed beside each other, orbiting in the same house like two planets caught in gravity's pull. Close but never colliding. Our conversations were simple and predictable. Did you take the kids to school? Can you grab milk on the way home? What time's the PTA meeting? No laughter that reached our eyes. No pauses that meant anything. Sometimes at night, I would lie awake beside him. The sound of his even breathing filled the dark, and I wondered if he felt it, too. That emptiness, that dull ache of being together yet completely alone. I never asked. Maybe I was afraid of the answer. Maybe I already knew it. Because the truth is, silence can be louder than any fight. And sometimes the quietest moments scream the most. It happened on a Monday, the kind that felt just like all the others. I was in the office half listening to a meeting when the door opened, and in walked Mason Grant, freelance designer, sharp mind, calm energy, the kind of man who didn't need to fill silence to make it feel comfortable. His presence didn't announce itself. It just settled like sunlight through an open window. When he joined our team, I didn't think much of it. Just another new face, another introduction, another polite handshake. But there was something about him, something awake. He had that kind of unhurried confidence, the sort that comes from being at peace with time itself. And when he laughed, that low, unforced kind of laugh that comes from deep within, people listened. His eyes are a shade of blue-gray. Didn't just look at you. They read you like they were searching for the part you tried hardest to hide. At first it was nothing. Small talk, work updates, coffee break chatter. But beneath it all, something stirred. Something I hadn't felt in years. Not attraction. Not yet. Something softer, like curiosity, with a heartbeat. One afternoon after a long meeting, he looked at me and said, "You always hold everything together, don't you?" It was such a simple thing to say. But it hit deeper than I expected, because no one had ever noticed before. Not really. Not what it cost me to be the one who always held everything together. And that was how it began. The smallest spark in a life I thought had gone cold. Mason didn't flirt. He didn't charm. He simply noticed. He noticed the little things. The way I tucked my hair behind my ear when I was nervous. The songs I hummed when I thought no one was listening. The way my voice changed when I was pretending to be fine. He asked questions that no one had asked me in years. Not the polite ones. Not, how are you? But, are you happy? Not what do you do for fun? But what used to make you feel alive? He wanted to know the songs that made me cry on long drives home. The books I once loved but hadn't opened in a decade. The dreams I shelved for the sake of being practical. For the first time in a long time, someone wasn't listening to what I said. They were listening to who I was. And that was dangerous. At first, I told myself it was harmless, just friendship, just comfort. But deep down, I knew what was happening. Because when you've been starving for oxygen, even a single breath can feel like salvation. Every conversation left me lighter. Every laugh echoed a little longer. And every time he said my name, it felt like he was reminding me I still existed. Meanwhile, Ethan had grown quieter and more distant. His attention was consumed by emails, bills, and screens that glowed brighter than the space between us. Our home felt functional, not alive. We were managing a life, not living one. And in the silence of our kitchen, I realized something haunting. The opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference. That night, after the kids were asleep, I tried to bridge the gap between us. Ethan, I said softly, do you ever feel like we're just existing? He looked up from his laptop, brow furrowed. What do you mean? I hesitated. I don't know. I just feel tired. He smiled faintly. That polite, tired smile he gave when he didn't want to go deeper. We're all tired, Liv. It's just life. He kissed my forehead and went back to typing. That was it.
No.
Just the comfortable indifference of someone who thought everything was fine because nothing was broken. But I wasn't fine. And something was broken. It was me. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, listening to the rhythm of his breathing beside me. And in the quiet, a thought formed, small, cruel, and undeniable. You can be deeply loved and still feel invisible. The next morning, I dragged myself into the office. Hair still damp from the shower, exhaustion clinging to me like perfume. When I reached my desk, there it was, a cup of coffee, my favorite, black with a hint of vanilla. Mason stood there smiling softly. You look like you could use this, he said. I wanted to tell him not to be kind because kindness, when you've been starving for it, feels like temptation. But instead, I smiled back. You have no idea, I said quietly. It wasn't flirtation. Not yet. It was recognition. Two tired souls acknowledging each other in a world that expected them to keep pretending. From that moment, something in me shifted. I started noticing the clock more often. Counting down to the next meeting, the next conversation, the next small escape from the grayness of my routine. I told myself it was innocent. Everyone needs connection. Everyone wants to be seen. But I already knew the truth. Once you start needing someone else to feel alive, you've already started walking away from yourself. It started small. It always does. A shared joke in a meeting, a late-night message that began about work but drifted into something else, something unspoken. Each exchange felt harmless on its own. But together, they began to weave a thread between us, a quiet, invisible connection that grew stronger every day. When he looked at me, I didn't feel like a wife or a mother or an employee. I felt like me. And that feeling, that dangerous, intoxicating recognition, became the thing I began to crave most. One late evening, the office had emptied. We stayed behind, finalizing a presentation. The hum of the air conditioner was the only sound between us. He leaned close, pointing something out on my laptop screen. I felt his breath brush against my neck just for a second, but it was enough. My pulse quickened, the air changed, and in that suspended moment, I forgot how to breathe. Then he stepped back, clearing his throat. Sorry, he murmured. It's okay, I whispered, though my voice betrayed me. And that's when I realized how fragile control becomes when you've been lonely for too long. Sometimes the most dangerous thing in the world isn't what's said, it's what's felt but never spoken. Because that's how it starts. Quietly, gently, almost innocently, until it's